All right, so I have a friend back home who just sent me a copy of this speech that he had done for his class in college on the differences between optimism and pessimism and how they affect us. The earliest of these was done in 1987, and the latest actually not too long ago, March 24th this year. So that was actually just a couple of weeks ago that it was published. And I thought it was groundbreaking enough to actually share. So one of the things that he found was this Martin Seligman, a psychologist at the University of Pennsylvania, did a study on 99 Harvard graduates based upon their explanatory styles, and basically split them up between between optimists and pessimists. And he found that out of these 99 grads, approximately 40 some years later, after they had graduated, the ones who were considered optimists were significantly better in health than the ones who were pessimists. Now I know that study is not too concrete per se, but there were some more things that were put on that. There was another study that was done by Susan Segerstrom, and she took five groups of people, two positives, two optimistic groups, one neutral group, and two negative groups. And what I mean by that is they were actually exposed to either positive or negative scenarios or neutral scenarios. And then they were told to list the as many up to 20 situations, like however they would have handled that specific situation. And just through that, they found that people who were put in the positive situations, the positive scenarios, were listing more things. And they decided, this meant that people who were put in positive scenarios were able to come up with more ideas on how they would react to a specific situation just based on their level of stress. Even when faced with physical activity, just physical activity, people who were considered pessimists or put in negative situations took significantly longer to calm down, and their actual resting heart rate took longer to stabilize. Their heart rate would stay elevated for a longer period of time. And clearly, adrenaline popping and you being tired is going to affect your judgment. That's the reason why when someone's upset, you tell them to calm down, right? Uh, Otherwise, they're going to have clouded judgment whenever they're making whatever bad decision it is that they're about to make. We all know this, right? And I don't know, just based on what I'm reading and based on the information that's been provided to me, uh, and information that I've previously gotten, I just feel like it's something to definitely be aware of. If you consider yourself a negative person, or even a realist, because some people would just say, no, I'm not a pessimist, I'm not an optimist, I'm just a realist. And what do you mean by that? You mean that you're okay with the specific situation that you're in, but you won't make a change in your life. This is all speculation, but at least when I've been confronted with these type of people who say these things, things like that, it always seems like they're not actually optimists or pessimists, well, I mean, they're not optimists. They are pessimists, because they'll sit there and they'll be like, oh, I'm perfectly capable of making decisions. I just realized that some decisions, even though I would like them to happen, are more outlandish, and that's not necessarily true. The outcome of the situation is completely dependent on how much effort you decide to put in. If you are the best person that you can possibly be, I'm not saying that 100% of the time you're going to get it, but at least you'll be satisfied with the decision that you made, opposed to deciding not to do something because you thought that the outcome was unlikely or not in your favor. You're going to miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So why don't you actually just go out and take the chance? Obviously, there are people who are naturally optimists. Pessimists, they're a lot more common. And of course, through negative experiences and what some people would consider failure, you're going to continue to be a pessimist. That's a conscious decision. In order to become an optimist, you need to consciously decide that you want to do that. You need to consciously change your mindset and your behavior, your behavioral patterns, and even the way that you speak. Because even if I just sit here and I say something like, I'm not sure if I want to go to the movies today, I'm not sure if I want to ask her out, she might be out of my league, but I don't go and I do something about it. I don't actually try to say anything. But the second that I said, she might be out of my league, but I'm going to go talk to her anyway, I've already subconsciously decided that she wasn't going to go out with me. So of course she's not. It's I feel like it's perfectly okay to go into a situation with at the very least neutral curiosity, because if you're leaning onto the side of negativity, it's just that much more likely to not work for you. When you talk to people who do extreme sports, they always talk about their failures when they fell and when they seriously injured themselves. And more times than not, it's directly correlated to hesitation or doubt. The people who fall down these big staircases. There was a show that used to come on MTV called Scarred, and you would watch and you would see these dudes getting these ridiculous accidents, break their legs and their ankles and their collarbones and just all over the place. It was a great show. You probably some episodes on YouTube or something if you care to look for it. And anyway, like a good 85% of those people who went through those accidents actually spoke about how they knew that they were going to fall. They knew they were going to fail before they even jumped up on the staircase in the first place. So it was already predetermined. They already predestined themselves, decided, I'm not going to make this, before they even tried to do it. And some people will be like, oh, well, obviously they've had enough experience in order to actually understand that the outcome of this wasn't going to be good before they even made the action. So if you knew that it wasn't going to be good before you made the action, then why would you try in the first place? No, you tried because you thought that you could make it all the way up until the point where you got intimidated. It had nothing to do with a logical outcome, and in my opinion, it's more of an emotional mental thing. You decide an emotional mental thing. A conscious decision, at the very least on an emotional level, that you were not going to make it, but you could definitely do it. If you just decided, I'm going to. At the very least, we'll see what happens. Opposed to, it's not likely. I don't know if I can. I'll try. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen anybody actually succeed at anything by simply saying, I'll try. Like, no, they're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make this thing happen. This is something that I'm passionate about. This is something that I want. Maybe it's not even something that you're passionate about or something that you want, but it's just like, I just want to get it out the way. Even if it's as simple as that, I just want to get it out the way. Then what are you going to do? You're going to sit there and you're going to get it done. Period. There's nothing else to go along with that. It doesn't matter who's saying what to you. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take. It doesn't matter how much effort you have to put into it. You're going to get it done because you want it to get done. Period. It's just a matter of will, pretty much. A matter of will and your own mentality. And if your mentality isn't right, of course you're not going to get things done. Because even on a physical level, even when it comes to a neurophysical level in your own body, your body will not get things done if you yourself are not in a positive state of mind. There were some people who were given vaccines, and they found that people who were actually given vaccines, these flu shots, that's what it was, these flu shots. The people who were identified as pessimists were less susceptible to actually these flu immunizations than the people who were considered optimists. People who are optimists overall got healthier quicker even without the immunizations when they were faced with certain illnesses. Like the common cold and like I just said, the flu. It's so even on a physical level, even when it comes to your own actual body, not even the decisions that you make when it comes in terms of time or effort, even when it comes to your own physical being, it's better to be a pessimist. It's better to be an optimist. Pessimist if you want to be self-destructive, like that's on you. But make the conscious decision. I feel like if you really want to get something done, just make the conscious decision to turn yourself into an optimist. Actually decide that you want to get things done and that you can do something. And if you can't get that motivation on your own, then you have people around you to support you. And if you don't, then you can find somebody. Support isn't always out there in terms of family members, and I understand that, or even when it comes to people outside of your or inside your social group. They may not necessarily be the best people for support. But if you have an interest, if there's something that you like, surely there is a group of people out there, because there's plenty of forums and plenty of groups at the very least on the internet, if not in your city or your neighborhood. People who have interests just like yours. They're out there. if you need help finding those people, feel free to message me and I'll help you out a little bit. I don't care who you are, but you're completely capable of your own destiny. And that's the moral of the story. I'm out.